So Star Citzen just released a brand new patch to the PTU over the weekend called 321, coming right on the heels of the release of 320. This, if you've not followed Star Citzen, is extremely unusual. And just to fill you guys in, if you're relatively new to Star Citzen typically releases patches on a 3-month cadence, where you have to wait 3 months until you get the next patch, or at least the next PTU, and sometimes it even goes beyond that, releases being up to 2 to 3 months later than they were supposed to be. Luckily though, there's not a lot of question as to why, as CIG simultaneously released a post onto the forums explaining the release of this new PTU. To sum it up, they're releasing it early to begin testing the tech necessary for us to be able to jump to a new star system, the next one being Pyro. And that tech, if you don't know, is one step before server meshing. It's not the actual meshing just yet. So CIG is going to be running this new PTU in parallel to the current live release of 320, testing this tech for the duration of, well, we don't know how long, probably for the rest of this year, until they get it stable enough where they're confident that they can release it to live. The post was met with a lot of skepticism. Most people aren't excited for a patch that's mostly testing tech with no real rewards for players. But what people probably weren't expecting, and I wasn't either, was that they actually added in the jump point itself into that PTU, though it may have been unintentional, judging by the state of the way it looks. And this has gotten a lot of players extremely excited for the possibility of seeing Pyro in 2023. Which brings me to the purpose of the video, which was not just to tell you guys about this news, which is pretty exciting, but to also limit your expectations. So let's start with the jump point itself. Right now, if you jump into the PTU 321, and everybody can access it right now if you've purchased a package for yourself, you can get to this new jump point if somebody there gives you a point to jump to by inviting you to their party. However, it's also possible to find a quantum jump point just floating out in space that you can go directly to, which is going to bring you pretty close to where this jump point's located. Now, how these quantum points are being generated is up for a lot of debate. Some people are thinking that these are being left by players who found it independently, while others are speculating that CIG have secretly been releasing them so that players can find it and build hype organically. Or rather, pseudo-organically. Obviously, if CIG's starting this, it's not exactly fully honest, but I don't think that that's actually the case given the state of these jump points, and that brings me to what you'll find if you go visit it. Right now, the way the gas clouds look is completely broken from what they've shown us in the past. Clearly, something's gone wrong with the LODs. However, if you get to certain distances, it starts to look pretty good, and if you get close enough to the center, you'll also find the way station that goes between Stanton and Pyro. It's nothing too special, it's just the R&R type station that you'll see scattered around the Stanton system, so if you're looking for something special, you won't find it here. What it does have though are these gates that lead you to what will presumably be the location of the actual jump point itself. And this is where it's absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt confirmed that this is the Pyro jump gate, at least the location of where it's going to be. But clearly, it's not ready yet for 321, and if it's meant to be in 321, I highly doubt that we're going to be getting Pyro in this patch. It's purely testing, and server meshing, as they've already stated, is not ready just yet. So while you may have heard from some friends that they think Pyro may be in 321 or before the end of the year, my word of advice is not to put much stock in that speculation. My prediction is that this is purely just going to be the jump point, and that it is perhaps planned to come in before the end of the year, but not as a functional jump point, purely as a location that we can visit to build hype. Which, if you think about it, is a pretty good move. It's not the first game to do it. WoW, for example, used to do this with expansions where they would introduce the location's gate that you could enter, but lock it until an allotted time. And this would create a huge gathering of players and community surrounding the release. And CIG releasing this in 321, or at least in a more finished version of 321 where this jump gate isn't so buggy, may be exactly what they're doing. They're trying to build a hype by giving us the jump point early, but maybe not necessarily Pyro. but you should also equally consider the possibility that this was just purely a mistake and it wasn't meant to be in this patch, and that it's absolutely no indication whatsoever that Pyro is drawing near. Personally, I'm of the opinion that it was intentional for it to be in the 321 PTU release, but perhaps it wasn't meant to be in this state, or findable by players for that matter, but maybe at some point they figured players are going to find it anyway, so they just dropped a quantum point that we could go visit it at in its broken state. And it has had a generally positive effect on the community thus far. People are getting more excited and feeling a bit more positive about Star Citizen going into the end of this year and the beginning of next year. Something that I must say that I think that Star Citizen desperately needs right now. What I personally hope for is that this is an indication that we're going to see some kind of good announcement at CitizenCon and not more promises about an eventual release of Pyro at some point in the very distant future, as we had in the CitizenCon 4 years ago now, where they talked about Pyro for the first time. Giving Star Citizens an actual tangible patch with things that they can experience will go a long way to building hype back up for the game in a time where people are choosing to buy less ships, which is not good for CIG's future. Whatever it might be though, we're gonna find out this month because CitizenCon is coming on the 21st and 22nd of October, and I'm actually gonna be there. So if you're going there as well and you're in the Armco community, I might have something for you. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you think that this is an indication that Pyro is coming very soon, or do you think it was just a mistake? Or do you think, like me, that it's a hype building method for CIG to get people ready for the eventual release of Pyro probably sometime next year, like we've all been pretty much speculating? Whatever you guys might think, I want to know down below. So hope to see you guys in the next one.